sometimes a friend can turn into a frenemy. And then what do, Veida?
Well, I think the first thing we do is define what is a frenemy. So how do you define a frenemy, Sandra?
A frenemy to me is somebody who is a friend, or you think that they're your friend, but they actually don't really like you.
So I agree with that, but I want to add a little something to it. I think that a frenemy can also be a friend that doesn't like you, but you could maybe be friends with somebody, but secretly not like them. So you could be on the other end of it too. Like there's people that I'm friends with them, but I don't actually like them. I would consider them a frenemy.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So you're actually on the other end of this.
You could be on both ends of it.
They think that you like them, but you don't really like them because you don't want to mess up a friend group.
So sometimes I think it's easier just to have a friend as opposed to an enemy, right?
Right, exactly.
Like you don't want it to be weird when you go out,
yes.
Whether they're in your friend group or like, you just don't know. Like I don't want to walk into a room and feel uncomfortable when I see somebody.
But are these close friends or are these just friends, like acquaintances?
I will say this, I think in my 20s, I definitely had a lot more close frenemies. I would say at this point in my life, if we're close, you're my real friend and I love you dearly because I'm not gonna let you in my circle and let you have exposure to my world if I don't care about you and respect you. And I think that respect is mutual, right? I don't hang out with people that I don't respect and I don't hang out with people that don't respect me at this point in my life.
Yes.
But if you rewind it 10 years ago, I think I had a lot of frenemies in my life, which is really sad.
No, that is really sad. I see what you're saying. So the frenemy could go either way.
Exactly. And I think in dealing with the frenemy, I think there's two ways you can look at it. You can look at it where you can just go out and end the relationship, right? You can say, listen, this person no longer serves me. I'm just gonna end this, do a friend breakup, right? Or you can stop and think about all the other relationships that are connected to the frenemy.
I agree with that.
Right? And sometimes it's easier to keep this frenemy in your orbit, but make sure you're not telling them about anything that's really going on in your life. You keep it very casual. Don't tell them the inner workings of your life at all. Like, I think this is something you have a hard time with.
This is something I have a really hard
time with this because you're so trusting and you also are an open book,
yes.
Right? So I think it's really hard for you to be friends with somebody without telling them everything. And the scary thing is the frenemy will take that information that somebody would give a friend and they use it against them.
100%. So I'm in a situation right now with somebody who I thought was a friend, but now I know that she's a frenemy. But she doesn't know that I know that she's a frenemy. So I'm just keeping her sort of at a distance, but we have mutual friends. So even the mutual friends don't know that I'm viewing this person as my frenemy.
Is this really hard for you not telling them mutual friends? This has got to be eating at you. I know it is.
So for the first time, I'm actually keeping this to myself. Nobody knows that I think this person is a frenemy, and she thinks we're friends, which we're friends, but I know that deep down she doesn't really like me and that she has some jealousy issues. But I'm actually keeping it to myself.
As you should. And I think that that's where life as an adult gets really complicated, yes. Right? Because you're in college, you're in your early 20s. Like, what's really on the line if there's somebody that doesn't have your best interest at heart? Like, whatever. Like, they interject if you're talking to some random guy at a bar or something, right? Then you get into later in life, and there's financial implications to having a frenemy. There's familial implications to having a frenemy. These people can mess up your marriage.
Yes.
They can mess up the relationship with your family, with your parents, with your children. So the stakes are a lot higher the older we get, yes. As to who we let into our lives.
And I've been in those situations as well. And those people I actually cut out of my life because they were detrimental to my family, my other friends, my kids. So now I just have one friend of me.
You know, the other thing with this is with going with keeping the frenemy at bay. You know, the stakes are so high, sometimes the implosion of ending it with the frenemy could be way worse than just keeping the frenemy in your orbit, but at a distance. Like keep them the furthest away planet as opposed to the closest planet in your orbit.
So for our audience, it's probably best in these situations that if you have a frenemy that isn't detrimental to your family, your kids, your significant other, then maybe continue to keep them in your orbit, but as Veida said, at a distance. But if it's somebody that's very detrimental to your health, your kids, your family, your significant other, then you have to cut them out of your life.
Yeah, so I think this is not a one-size-fits-all answer. I think you have to evaluate each frenemy situation individually and proceed with caution.
Definitely proceed with caution. And if you have to cut them, then, oh well,
Snip, snip, snip.
Party's over. Thank you for tuning in to Party's Over. We hope you're getting some great information and support for your journey. If so, you can support us by hitting the subscribe button and telling some friends. We'll be right back.